Hello, my name is Randy Heisler, Managing Principal with Lifecycle Engineering. Today, we're going to talk about my presentation at this year's Electric Power Conference, where I talked about culture change and reliability. What I first spoke to the group about was reliability losses. Often, people think that our losses in our production environment are caused by maintenance. In reality, many parts of the organization, and I'll talk today about just 3 of them, contribute to those losses significantly, more significantly than maintenance. One of the statistics is that production losses are typically at 23%, engineering losses at 22%, with maintenance coming in at only 17%. So what does that say to us? Do we need to change our culture to where more emphasis is put on production losses as opposed to blaming everything on the maintenance organization? Maybe so. And how we might do that is to explore a concept, of which I did with the group at the Electric Power Conference, about operations-owned reliability. A foreign concept to some, because many people are in a, let's call it, I operate, you fix mentality, where operations is their goal is to make tons or widgets or products or pounds or whatever it is that they're making, with any type of interruption being blamed on the asset. Well, just imagine for a moment if the operators became asset owners, to where they took care of their equipment the way they do their automobile, to where now they might ask themselves the question, who's responsible for reliability? Me as the operator, or the maintenance group that makes repairs or adjustments to my asset? Obviously the answer is me as the operator, owns the asset and is responsible for the reliability. One of the next things that we covered was something called Defect Overload. Our defects come from many different parts of what's happening in the production process. As I mentioned, the defects of how the equipment was engineered, the defects of how it's being maintained, the defects that maybe are induced by how we operate the asset and how we take care of it. So if we explore that and we go into the idea that if the operator were to check the equipment on a daily basis, what a difference that might make. If the operator captured losses and shared those and worked together with the maintenance department, what a difference that might make. If the operator made daily checks and rounds and had more concise startup and shutdown procedures, would that make a difference to the level of defects that are being induced into the system? And what often happens, that if defects are too great, if there are too many defects, that now affects the maintenance organization's ability to plan and schedule, and backlogs become high. Now, if we change the culture to where now operations is pulling for help from the maintenance organization, just as we pull for help from our auto mechanic on our automobile, the culture can change. Now, some of that must come from how we are held accountable, how we are measured. If another concept that was explored was, what if operations shared, at least shared, in the metrics that might typically be considered maintenance metrics? Things like schedule compliance, PM compliance, the cost of maintenance. Would that not change the way we look at our assets and create some responsibility on the operations side of the organization to create a pull from our maintenance organization, from our engineering organization, specifically reliability engineers? If operations and reliability engineers can work together to reduce the number of defects, now our planning and scheduling system will have less backlog. They will be more effective in helping maintain the asset. So with some of that, the success factors was the next piece that we touched on. How might we do that? We explored how could we change the culture? How could we improve reliability? It starts with leadership. Driving people to change the way they think, their thoughts and behaviors, driving the measures and holding people accountable differently than they were before, turning to the operations group and asking, what is your PM compliance? What's your schedule compliance? How are you taking care of your asset as the asset owner? And what does that cost if you don't? And and we shared also with the group that there's a quote from the book Execution that says, we cannot think our way into a new way of acting. We must act our way into a new way of thinking. Thanks for listening today.